Carolina, one of those states considering such action. Joining me now is the state's Attorney General, Josh Stein. Mr. Stein, thanks so much for taking time this morning.
Jim, pleasure to be with you.
So first, let's begin on the lawsuit. Are you going to join forces with other attorney generals and sue the administration? Have you decided?
We are exploring our legal options. A number of states share the concerns. The Postal Service is the definition of an essential service. It's a lifeline to rural North Carolina. Small businesses depend on it. In an era of pandemic, it is a way for people's voice to be heard in this election by voting. And so we will protect the Postal Service this cycle.
This morning, the president just a few minutes ago said that this is just about making the Postal Service more efficient. Do you believe him, or do you suspect the president's trying to restrict mail-in voting because he sees political advantage?
The president last week admitted that he did not want to provide funding for the Postal Service because he wanted to make it harder for people to vote absentee. Those were the words he spoke out loud. And you combine that with his political appointee donor, Postmaster General, taking a series of actions, all of which have the effect of slowing down mail delivery. This is the cause of our grave concern.
I want to show you what some North Carolina voters received in the mail this past week, which I know you're aware of. It's an absentee ballot request form. It came from the Trump campaign. I believe we have an image of it, and it has, the president's face on there, Trump victory campaign slogan. What is this exactly?
It's a shame. It's a shame. It's hypocrisy. He's making false and unfounded assertions that there's widespread fraud when there's no evidence. He's making a false distinction between mail-in voting and absentee voting when they are the same thing. His own legal filings in federal court admit they are the same thing. In North Carolina, it is actually called no excuse absentee voting. Anyone who wants to vote by mail can do it. All you have to do is put in your request. And if you put in your request today, in North Carolina, we're the first state in the country. 18 days from now, the ballot will be mailed to you, and you can have your vote counted or put into the box in mid-September.
Yeah. So much of what the president does is about disinformation. It's about raising doubts, et cetera. You have an important job there as the Attorney General. Is it working in North Carolina? Is it confusing voters? Is it reducing interest in mail-in voting?
Well, it has not reduced interest. The mail-in vote requests are up 8 or 9-fold from where we were 4 years ago. And I think that's obviously driven by the pandemic. Yeah. But the damage he's doing is to really the fabric of our democracy. The way our system works is we have peaceful transfer of power between parties and have done so successfully since our founding because people have faith that the final result reflects the will of our voters. And he's trying to damage that belief, and it's incredibly harmful.
Yeah, and as you say, it's often in his words themselves. So Congress, Nancy Pelosi says she's going to bring Congress back Saturday to take urgent action. Well, what does Congress have to do to fix this problem or to prevent really a further trimming of the post office ability to handle that increased demand? What do you need from Congress now?
Congress plays a critical role. They provide oversight so they can make sure that it's not being mismanaged, and they provide funding. And I urge them to do both of those things. There's a role for state legislatures. They need to review their laws to make sure that if somebody postmarks their mail-in ballot by Election Day and it gets there days afterwards, that vote still counts. Because a lot of states, the law says it has to have arrived on Election Day, even if you mailed it in a week earlier. And then ultimately, though, Jim, it's the voters. The voters have to have confidence and know their vote will count. They just have to participate. In North Carolina, it's incredibly easy. You can vote on Election Day safely. They're going to have all kinds of protective measures in place. 17 days of early voting, including 2 weekends. And if you want to vote by mail, for any reason, you can do that. Your ballot will be mailed to you in 19 days if you send in your request. And you can either put it in the post and track it through the state board's website to make sure it got there, or you can hand deliver it to the County Board of Elections anytime before Election Day. So people need to know they can vote, their vote will count, and it will reflect the will.
Well, I'm glad you said that. We're going to be doing that as often as we can, is get the information. If you're in North Carolina, listen to what the man says. You have multiple ways to vote. Don't listen to the disinformation. Listen to the facts. Josh Stein, thanks so much for coming on this morning.